dime lo que tú quieres de mi coqueta. Sé lo que te gusta es salir y se suelta. Cuando baila reggaetón pa' mí que muñeca. Le gusta salir y seducir. Dime lo que tú quieres de mi coqueta. Sé lo que te gusta es salir y se suelta. Cuando baila reggaetón pa' mí que muñeca. Le gusta salir y seducir. Dale chiquitita, dame más. Qué bonita que te quiere controlar. Ella dice que me quiere controlar.
Yep. Yeah, there we go. We're live. Oh, okay. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Mezcla Moguls. It's your co-host, John.
Why are you laughing?
Because I don't have something that flows, man.
It's funny because he tries to use my intro.
Yeah.
Anyways, welcome back to Mezcla Moguls. It's your boy, the one with the scar on his face. We got the co-host, John.
What up?
And we finally got Jesus to come back another episode.
Yeah.
He's been absent for a little while.
I heard you were going to have Kenneth on, so I had to come back.
Yeah, this is, and it's cool that I wanted him to come back just because we've had people listen to that first episode, and I feel like it's a little outdated just because trading does.
Well, it's been a year.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of ups and a lot of downs.
People have wasted that money probably from the stimulus checks, that we've done, that episode. But anyways, welcome back, Kenneth.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me back on.
No, it's a pleasure. But before we get into it, this episode is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. I don't know if you guys use them, but I use them all the time.
You're doing your promo right now?
I have to.
Okay.
I have to. Like, it's just because people will skip over it in the beginning.
That is true.
So I got told, hey, add it in the front. So
I actually use it.
Yes,
it's pretty good.
And Dollar Shave Club, I love it. I use their razors, their facial moisturizer. They have like hair stuff. They have all sorts of stuff. And the cool thing is that they It's like a subscription-based box, so you can just put whatever you want in it and then have it sent to you. And it's really cool because I love it. I use it all the time, and sometimes I would forget to buy razors and things like that. So then, like with this, they just charge your card. It's not very expensive, and then all of a sudden you have a package in your front door.
Yeah, we don't want to know what you shave because you have a full beard.
It's this bottom part.
Just that bottom part.
It's so annoying. I know. I don't know. It looks like you shaved the bottom part. Oh, it gets super itchy, and I hate it.
Yeah.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
No.
Christ. If you guys know, it's cool because we started doing video as well too. So if you guys are listening to on Spotify, you can watch the video or go over to our YouTube and check out that video too.
Yeah, go check out John's amazing beard.
Yeah, he has an amazing beard as well.
No, well, Kenneth has an amazing beard. I'm talking about John's.
Oh, yeah,
whatever that is.
Anyway.
It's not considered a beard if it doesn't connect.
Mine's been growing for 2 weeks. His has been growing for 3 years.
23 years.
So,
anyways,
let's get into this episode. If you guys haven't listened to his first episode, that episode was basically
a year ago.
And then it was how to like start investing because people were curious at that time, and especially since they were going to get their stimulus checks. Most people probably spent their money on random things,
Pokemon cards.
That and but that can be an asset as well too, depending on which ones you get. But some people just blow their money. I saw people taking vacations, you name it, all sorts of things, and then where they could have invested that money into something. So I've been personally investing a lot more since then, just because I've seen, Jesus has been helping us out by,
trying to keep him motivated, especially right now
especially during this time.
Everything's down.
Yeah,
everything's scary.
And it's cool. No, go ahead.
Go ahead. It's tough if you're a new investor. It's tough. I've been seeing a lot of memes lately of like, have you seen that James Franco meme where he's got like the noose around his neck?
Yeah.
And it says like for all the people who just started driving and they're seeing $4 gas prices, and then the text below is like first time.
Yeah, from Buster Scruggs.
Everyone else remembers like in 2008, gas was like $5-6. But like all the first time drivers are like, yo, and like so. Same goes to investing. For me, this is like great opportunity. I'm not scared. I'm loading up. I'm like buying investments. It's terrible because of what's happening, like Ukraine and inflation and all that stuff. But at the same time, this is where wealth is built.
That's what I've been trying to tell them. He listens to me. This guy over here, not so much.
Well, we'll give you a story like what happened to him in the beginning. When we were talking about investing. It was during like when TikTok was blowing up, posting a bunch about investing, but it was a bunch of those GameStop, it was AMC and things like that. And my guy over here, He almost bought GameStop at the very top.
He did buy. Well, he bought Dogecoin at the first peak, and freaked out when it went down and sold it, and then bought it again at the second peak.
Yeah.
Okay. He's doing great though.
But he's been learning. He's been investing in some crypto now. But yeah, it sucks seeing those your account negative. But like he says, he would always like he shows like different graphs and things like that, and then based off like previous histories, like where the market was at, but then like how it like bounced back. And so me, I just throw money in it. I just throw money. He's
dollar cost averaging.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm doing because like right now it's hard to kind of make sense of things because it's. I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like it's not as predictable. It's almost like patterns that used to work out like great aren't working anymore for some reason.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's just first of all, I think it's a lot of computers now that are for these hedge funds. So you'll see like a down, like the market opens down like 800 points and then it closes up 100 points in the same day.
Yeah,
That's
it's
crazy.
Nuts. It is
never happened. There's a dude at my gym. He's probably like mid 80s now, but he used to be a stockbroker. And I like every once in a while he'll see me and he'll be like, "What stock should we buy in this week?" But I saw him the other day and I asked him, I was like, "Have you ever seen anything like that where it drops 1,000 points and then closes up 100?" And he's like, "Never. I've never seen it before." And like it happened like a week later. It dropped like 600 points and then it closed up like 500 points. It makes no sense other than like it's just got to be,
algorithmic trading
and computers and it says like, hey, if it drops by a certain amount to start buying, because retail traders can't move stuff that much. I mean, This isn't that, like, it can't be like us buying the dip and we move it from 1,000 points down to 100 points up. We don't have enough money to do that. So yeah, I hear you completely. Like it is different and it's a lot more uncertain right now, especially with everything, like not just inflation and not just here at home, but like what's Putin going to do? How does this end? And Wall Street hates that.
Yeah.
Like Wall Street hates uncertainty, which is actually why, like when you see companies get like class action lawsuits and they pay out in damages, the stock actually goes up. Because Wall Street is like, okay, good, it's over. We've moved on. They're going to pay the families who got sick or, the plane crash. They're going to pay everyone and it's over and we move on. And so that's why stocks like go up after they announce that they're paying off because now it's over. We can move past it.
Yeah, because usually the sell-off was worse than it should have been, right?
Yeah. And so, yeah, there's huge uncertainty right now. And I think that's causing a lot of uncertainty in the market.
Yeah, because one of the things I noticed that if pre-market it was like really badly down, it was going to be a good day. Because usually once it opens, like people start buying that huge dip. And then when it was up pre-market, I was like, oh man, this isn't going to be good. Because usually it would just tank. Like right after everybody started trading, it'd go up maybe a little bit more. And then all of a sudden just like straight down. It is insane.
And I notice it too with like every stock that I have. Like if I have like all my charts open on the screen, they're identical.
Yeah.
It's, like you said, it pops at the open and then every chart looks like the same thing.
Yep. And is that before, was that normal where everything would follow each other, or was it like some stocks would do great during the day, others would not do so good, or?
Yeah, it depends. Like if it's like a sector specific thing, like if gas prices are rising and they're like, oh, this is going to affect the airlines, then you would notice that like every airline stock would look the same. But it used to be a little different. It wasn't like everything was exactly the same. And now, at least for me, like I'll go through my portfolio, I'll go online and I'll look at like the trending stocks and they're all doing
consistently.
Yeah. And there might be like one stock that's like breaking the trend. And you're like, whoa, why is this one up? And then you look and it's like, oh, merger news.
Yeah, they got bought out.
Or they have a new product or, whatever. But it's usually like some specific thing to like one company that's like making them go up while everything else is down.
Yeah, it's insane. And it's weird because you can't, I don't do it like every day. I'm not actively trading. Right now I'm more dollar cost average for the long term, just because it's so it's weird, man. It doesn't make any sense to me right now. But
it's the same for me. My trading has been totally affected by this, just because you don't know what you're getting into one day from the next. Like I can look at a stock like Funko. You know, they make those little like kind of like bobblehead toys. Their stock has been trading in like a really consistent trading range for months. Like that's a great stock to trade back and forth. Every time it gets to like 16, it kind of stops, goes up to 20, around those numbers. But now none of that. Like the trading ranges don't matter. Everything is, you know, you can look at something and be like, oh, maybe this is a good trade, and then it dumps. Or you're like, oh, I'm going to make this, like I'm going to sell here, take my profit, and then it keeps skyrocketing. Like nothing is making sense. You can't predict the stock market, but like you can kind of use what's happened in the past to like gauge, like maybe I'll buy it here, I'll probably sell it around there, and now it's like all bets are off. Nothing. So I kind of have taken a back seat.
Yeah, the probabilities of it doing what you think is going to do, they were really high. They were 60, 70%. Now it's like a coin flip. Like support lines that used to hold, like almost for sure would hold, they're just going through like a knife through butter.
It's funny when he's showing us the charts. He's like, this is what it should do. But then he's like, I don't know what it's going to do, though. Like he's like, this is what the graph says, or like according to the pattern, this is what it should do. You know, it should bounce here. You know, here's the support line right here. It should go up. And then all of a sudden later it does like maybe the opposite, or like completely like just skyrockets. Just something different.
With him, because he's interested in one thing. And then, so I'll tell him, this is a good buy spot. I don't know if it's a bounce from there. It's bounced like once, and then the rest of the time it's just gone through.
But you've been pretty accurate. It's been weird because he's been telling me like, put a like a buy order here, and I'm like, dude, but it's far away. He's like, trust me. And then maybe a week will go by, and it's freaking up, down, sideways, and then next thing you know, like, holy crap, you were like, it fills it like, and
then bounces up, and then it decides, you know what? Never mind. And then tanks past it. Yeah, it's annoying.
But you've been pretty accurate. The few times, I think all the times you've told me, it's like, oh, buy here. And I'm like,
yeah, you can see the zones. It's like really easy to see which zones have value. It's just, they got bounced from that? I don't know anymore. Like it's, the probabilities are a coin flip now. Before they were pretty close, but now it's a coin flip.
I find like the few things that I'm doing now is like, if I am trading, I'm trading way less, like in terms of like shares than I used to buy. So like if I was buying like 2,000 or 3,000 shares of like some penny, like, you know, something like $2 a share, now I'm buying like 1,000 shares. I'm buying way less. And because like what we were just talking about, like technical analysis that used to be pretty reliable, not reliable anymore. So I'm taking my profits way quicker. Like if something pops, even if it's like $100 in profit, I'm like, these markets are so uncertain and shaky right now that I'm like, I'm just going to take it. And like 7 times out of 10, when I sell, it's the right move because it just dumps. Even though I thought like could go like in a normal market, I wouldn't be selling right here. It could probably go higher, but it's just too volatile.
Yeah.
So
there's a thing they say, right, where it's like take your emotions out of it and just use your like right now. I think it's almost backwards. Now it's like almost like there's a feeling like it's gonna drop. Like even though the analysis says it should keep going, and usually that feeling is gonna drop, it's pretty accurate because sometimes it'll just tank for like no reason other than somebody said something and people got scared.
Right. And there needs to be like, everyone's talking about like, is there going to be a recession and all that? And like, if you look at the job, like, I mean, I know a lot of these jobs that were created were just because stuff is again. But the economy is pretty strong. Like there are people going back to work, and even though they hate that they have to go back to the office, like a lot of these offices are saying, come back. And some people are quitting, but some people are going back to the office, and that's going to help. Like, you know, the whole reason they want everyone back at the office is because the downtown areas are getting punished. Like no one's going to those coffee shops. No one's going out to eat lunch. No one's shopping in those areas because they're all working from home. So the minute people come back, those things will improve too. The only thing that like, there needs to be a catalyst. Like there needs to be something to cause a recession, and it could be inflation. Like if it just gets like totally out of control, I mean, it already is, but if it gets worse, if something from Russia happens, like a world war, you know, that could drive things down. I don't know. Like it's
So
it's
I had
hard to.
I had a question based off of I mean the way you guys talk about the market right now. What if you have like a new investor or someone that wants to get involved? What kind of advice would you give them? Like say John didn't have someone like Jesus to kind of guide him. Would it be?
You'd probably be doing better.
Would it be something that you would tell him, or what would you tell him to get into? You know, like would you tell him to get into crypto, or would you tell him to get into stocks?
Both.
Both.
I would say both. And I would say get in very cautiously. Like if you wanted to buy 100 shares from some company, don't buy 100 shares right now. Buy like 25 shares at a time, like dollar cost averaging, but less than what you would normally.
It doesn't ring a bell.
Keep
What
going.
you normally be getting into, because like, you know, in a bull market, you want to buy stock in like Ford or whatever. You buy your 100 shares, and then it's going to go up because it's a bull market and everything is on fire. So it's a good time to just buy your whole position. In really uncertain times, though, you don't want to buy your 100 shares right now, because 3 months could be like what we're seeing, like a chip shortage for these cars. Ford they come out, they say, oh, there's no chips, stock tanks. So now you purchase your 100 shares at like 20, now it's 16. You want to buy a little bit more at a discount, and you can't because you spent all your money. So I would say a little bit at a time. Buy on the really bad news day. You know, when Ford comes out and goes, oh my God, we're gonna have to delay the release of our new car because there's no chip for the GPS or whatever, and the stock tanks, 25 more shares. If they have really bad earnings, you know, it's Ford, like they're not going anywhere. If they have really bad earnings, that's to me a great time to buy because it's on like a discount. So another 25 shares, but it's not like, you know, every time the stock goes down like 2%, you want to save it for those big down days. Yeah, because, you know, I think one of the things like we were talking about from in the last episode was people were so quick to buy every little down day. But then when there's like a huge down day,
They get scared.
they don't have any money left.
No, they don't have money left.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, and one of the things too, right, is the lower the price is, it's usually safer to invest than when the price is stupid high, because your risk to reward improves.
Right. Yeah. And it just kind of goes back to like what like Warren Buffett used to say, like when others are fearful to be greedy, and when others are greedy to be fearful. And like that's what we saw last year. Everyone was like, buy it, it's going higher, it's going higher. Like there was so much greed, and there were people who were buying like GameStop at like 400 because they wanted it to go to 800. And it's like dude, like it already went from 20 to 400. Like that. Yeah. Now you're saying you're not selling because you want it to go from 400 to 800 because you want to make more. You've already made so much money. Like take most of that profit. You don't have to take all of it, but take some of it, because like we were talking about, when it's stupid high, it doesn't make any sense. It can only go down. You know, it's going to be really hard for a company to maintain those higher prices unless you're like Apple, you know, and people always have to go out and buy the new phone and they always have to get it. It's harder to sustain those prices, and you are getting it at a discount when it's hammered like this, unless it's like a really shitty company. If it's like some terrible company, and they're just losing money and they're debt, then it's different. But when we're talking about like these mega cap, you know, like huge conglomerate, giant corporations, great opportunity.
Yeah, those shitty companies, you'd think zero is the worst they can get. It's not zero, because they do like reverse splits, and then it tanks like more, and then it never gets to zero. They keep doing reverse splits, and then it keeps tanking, and it's that's why you'll see some companies that were like $50,000 a share and now are $2 a share, because they keep doing reverse splits, and it keeps like it's
Really?
Yeah. You'd think zero is the worst. It's not.
And your shares go away too.
Yeah.
You have like two shares at like a reverse split adjusted price of like $800, and it's like 3 cents now, and you're like, oh man, it's never gonna get that. Like I bought Citibank at one point, and they did a reverse split, and it just got hammered. I ended up with like 2 shares, and my reverse price was like $800. It's like it's never gonna get back there. So you're right, like, and it ties up money too that you could be using for other investments.
Do you remember Sigma Labs? Did you ever hear about that stock? It was a penny
Which one?
stock. Sigma Labs. So they did software for 3D printing.
Oh, okay.
And so it was the next big thing because what does well? So if something does well, the software usually does better because their overhead's not as much. Blah blah blah. So that one was trading at 12 cents. So I bought, quite a bit, 50-some thousand shares, and then they did a reverse split, and my 52,000 became 520, and then they did another one, so they became 225, and it sucked. It was, it went from, so now I think the average, I ended up selling it, getting rid of it, and taking the tax loss or whatever, but it kept it never stopped dropping. So like it's
do those
weird.
happen more on just like the riskier stocks? Because you don't
The
see
penny
that happen.
stocks?
Yeah.
Mostly. But
Yeah,
you see it
it's-
happen everywhere. If a company is starting to do poorly or has like really good competition that is driving that thing to be obsolete, it'll probably do that.
Yeah, a lot of penny stocks do reverse splits. The other reason they do them too is to prevent being delisted or taken off like an exchange. So they're like, you have to maintain a certain price for a certain period of time, and if you fall below like $1 or whatever, you're at risk for being delisted. So then a lot of times companies will do a reverse split just to make the stock price go from like 13 cents to $5 to avoid being delisted. But then, like you said, it just drops again.
Yeah.
Because people see it, they're like, "This is garbage."
So it's because I wanted to get into. I think last time when we talked, they hadn't added crypto to Robinhood.
They had it, but right now they're doing, so I think it's beta, they're still in the beta testing, but where you can actually own your crypto now, where you can actually transfer it to a cold storage wallet or transfer it off of, which is, I think will be great for Robinhood because
I did too.
Yeah, because I know Jesus wanted to call you out on something.
I didn't want to call him out. I just want to say that before. So last year when we asked you, were you into crypto? You're like, no, not really. And you've gotten into crypto more, right?
Yeah, I have, definitely. Yeah, I
It's not really a call out.
Last year when we talked, I had Bitcoin and I had Ethereum, and that was pretty much it. And I purchased them years ago, and I just, I kind of forgot about them. I wish I had more Bitcoin than I did, but I've definitely gotten into it a little bit more, not to a point where I can tell you what any of these projects do. I just I hate to say it, but like I see what all the big influencers are talking about, which is like what I always say you shouldn't do. You should do your own homework and all your own research and stuff.
They are my homework. That's what I say. Like, you are my homework. So
they've done I mean, if you watch a lot of their videos, they'll give you all the reasons they love it, and then they'll say, "But do your own research." And it's like, why? You just did it. Like you just explained. You just explained that you just did the homework that I'm going to do. So I did buy a lot more. I bought like Matic, HBAR, VeChain. There's a couple others that I got, and I've been staking my USDC coin because it pays like 10%.
It's insane.
It's funny how he lists all these, and these are like some of them that I have.
Yeah, they're like the blue chips of crypto.
Sure.
Basically, they're like the Apples and the Fords and it's companies that should be around for a long time.
Were these companies around when, or did they develop after? Like at first it was just Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, and then all of a sudden
what was it? Bitcoin, Litecoin, and
it was Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and
there was a few others that aren't around anymore.
Yeah, because now I feel like there's a lot, like a lot of different crypto.
Oh, there's thousands.
I think it's like 6,000.
Yeah, there's thousands of them.
Yeah, and then some people. He was telling me. I mean, a lot of us watched that TV show, Squid Games.
Oh yeah.
And then there was he was telling me about what was the token called?
Squid token, I think. Do you remember that one?
How no one caught on that you couldn't sell, and like you know what I mean? Like they basically scammed a bunch of people because you were able to buy the token,
But you couldn't sell it.
but you couldn't sell it.
Yeah.
Like
I remember that.
like, isn't that a red flag right there? Like, would you buy it if that was the case?
No, that's why I didn't buy it. But it went from like a few cents to $20 to $30. Then all of a sudden it went like to $2,000, $3,000, and then it went to zero.
Yeah. Good old rug pull.
Yeah, big old rug pull.
Yeah, I remember watching that. There's been a lot of them though, like that. And I get a lot of emails from people now saying like, we want you to promote our new cryptocurrency, and it's like some garbage thing that like no one's ever heard of, and it's like, I'm not putting my name on this. Like, there was another one, some dude on TikTok had done a whole bunch of videos on some coin. You got to buy it. It's the next big thing. Whole bunch of people bought it. They like rug pulled the currency. They took all the profits, left everyone hanging, and everyone like looked to this dude and they were like, you recommended this. And he was like, I'm so sorry. I don't know. I didn't realize what it was.
But
killed his reputation too.
Behind the camera, he's like, but I'm rich.
Fist bumping the guys that did the rug pull.
You know, yeah, because that's what some people want to happen is like they think they're gonna get rich quick, so they'll listen to. I mean, you talked about it a little bit earlier. I don't know if it's something people should be cautious about. Is like listening to. I know you're on TikTok. Other people on TikTok as well too, because you see, oh, like buy this coin or buy this is gonna do this. Do you think some of these guys are just doing it to pump up the price and then so they can just take profits?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how do you? I mean, you say you do your own research, but then you said that they are the research
on some of them.
So how do you like gauge which ones are like BS and which ones seem legitimate?
You have to go through and watch a lot of the videos, and the problem is too that they'll probably delete the shitty ones later on, like after there's a rug pull, or if they're wrong, if they say like this coin's going up and then it doesn't go up, they're going to go in and delete it. Which is kind of is why you have to like have a trusted group of people that you really like, influencers that you really do trust. The hard thing is, how do you know you can trust them? How do you know they're not just some smooth talking, group of people who come out and because they'll all like all these TikTok creators have like their group of friends, that they're all friends with, and it's not uncommon to see them all of a sudden they're all talking about this one NFT or this one thing, and you're like, man, everyone's talking about this. Maybe I should buy it because everyone's talking about it. And then it turns out that it's garbage or there's some sort of rug pull. So it is hard to know who to trust. So I guess what I would say is, if you're going to invest in these things because you hear a lot of people talking about it, treat it like a lottery ticket and only put in what you're willing to lose, because you really just don't know. And yes, they could be coming at it with like really good intentions. Like, this is what I love. I've researched it. Here's all my information. It could also be a scam and you just don't know it. It could also be that they're all like coordinating some, like, everyone posts about this NFT on Tuesday and we'll make it look like it's this really hot thing. You don't know.
Yeah. And then the thing too is the greatness of a stock or a crypto or the project doesn't necessarily translate into rewards, because at the end of the day, it's people's sentiment that give it the value, not what they're actually doing. So if it's a really good project, but people aren't really feeling it, no matter how good that project is, it's never going to go up. So the fundamentals could be amazing, but if people aren't into it, it's just not going to do anything.
What I've noticed lately too is I'm pretty sure people who are behind the projects reach out to these celebrities and they're like, hey, push this, because all of a sudden, like, you have this celebrity pushing this one like super hard, and then after it goes live, then they just like stop. To me, it just feels like they're
like a brand deal.
Yeah, like a brand deal. Like they're just trying to push it so people will buy it. They'll get their cut, and then
that's exactly what it is. I think anyway.
Yeah, I think that just happened with like Kim Kardashian. Didn't she come out and push some coin that like flopped?
Yeah.
And there's other examples of celebrities.
Lindsay Lohan did that with a few coins.
Yeah, I don't think the celebrities really know what they're getting. Like, I think they're viewing it like a shampoo commercial.
Except for Paris Hilton, she knows what she's talking about.
Does she?
She's actually pretty decent with what she pushes.
Okay.
Who knows?
It's cool that I mean, just like in a lot of things, you bring up like crypto or NFTs to people, and they're like, "Oh, that's dumb, that's dumb." And I'll use this for example. I don't know if you watch the Breakfast Club on YouTube. They do. It's like a hip hop page channel. I know you know which one I'm talking about. So
TJMB.
yeah, they would bring up like, "Oh, I don't know what NFTs are. I don't know what Bitcoin and that." It's like I just stay away from that because that's all I know. On their recent episode that I watched, they're all like, yeah, he's involved in this. Like they're coming up with this NFT, like all sorts of stuff because they probably saw the money that is involved in it.
Yeah.
And but now I feel like I don't know.
But
There's
even
way too many NFTs. Like, or it's really hard to choose which one. Because I know you talked to me about the Nelk Boys, how they have their NFTs.
I don't know if you've ever seen the Nelk Boys. They have like they're huge on YouTube. And they have like a podcast. And they're kind of like shadow banned from YouTube. So they have to create other ways to make money. And they came out with it's called the Full Send Metacard. So it's an NFT that, in a sense, they want to do what Gary Vee's doing. They want to have like a reward basis NFT that not just is just like a digital card, but it has perks. So they're hosting. Actually, this weekend they hosted the first Metacard holder event that they brought DJ. They even brought Snoop Dogg on, and only people with Metacard NFTs could come and do like these perks. Because I don't know if you guys have seen the podcast Gary Vee talked with Logan Paul on his Impulsive on how that idea of concept of creating a like value to something that is digital, creating that hype on his what are they called? V-Friends?
V-Friends, right?
Yeah. So he said that's because he made what 40 some million. I think he was talking about
Off the V-Friends?
Yeah. But that's after everything. It was an insane amount.
Yeah.
But he said that that's not a lot because over the next 5 years, he wanted to spread it out and create like these events that only people that had his NFT that could come in, or open up like I don't know, like buildings, actual mortar brick buildings that people can come and.
Yeah, that's what he was telling me because I didn't realize that. I think it's the Bored Apes.
Yeah, they'll have some type of perk. Not all of them. Mm-hmm. The ones we're talking about, these big ones, they have some type of perk that goes along with owning it.
And then I realized why a lot of these celebrities were buying, especially the Bored Apes, because I guess you get access with that NFT. You get access to exclusive parties, or like the higher end parties. Yeah. That's why they're so
which
expensive.
Is smart because I feel like you were saying, the market's super saturated with a lot of things, and even Gary Vee said only 99% of the projects survive. Which is
you should do that, Kenneth. Do some NFTs where they have access to your house and party with you.
Do you currently own any NFTs?
The only NFT that I have, I was given by AMC because I have like the AMC rewards thing or something. So I got an email there. They were like, "Hey, because you're a what did AMC call? They have like they have something if you're a shareholder, like the rewards kind of thing."
I didn't get one. I had one share though.
I couldn't even sell it if I wanted to. It's just like a spinny AMC logo.
Are you looking to get into NFTs?
Not at the moment, just because like what you're talking about, they're so oversaturated, and I'm sure these are great like for like quick short term trades, but like what are like the Bored Apes thing? Like, is that going to be around in 10 years? Like, what even is it? Like, I know some of them have like games attached to it. Some of them have events attached to them. I think right now we're just going to see a lot of garbage, a lot of scams coming out in the space just because the opportunity is there to push crap and take advantage of people and get money. Long term, I think NFTs are going to be huge in a lot of ways. Like in the video game space, I think tickets are going to become NFTs. Like to concerts, you go to the Metallica thing, you get a Metallica NFT. Maybe you have access to like that event, like a recording of that show. Like I think they're going to find ways to tie it in and give you perks and use it as like reward cards. But right now, I don't know much about it, and I don't know how to like invest in some of these things because I don't know what's going to be here and what's not.
Plus, a lot of it is not as straightforward as you think. It's like connecting wallets and
I think that's what scares a lot of people.
And the user friendliness isn't there yet.
No, the user friendliness is definitely not there. I looked because when I had my NFT, I was like, oh, my AMC one. I was like, can I transfer this? Nope. it's just there. You can't sell it. You can't do anything with it. It's like a useless spinny graphic. So I was like, this is kind of stupid.
But maybe someday it won't be stupid. Someday you'll probably get a bunch of money for it.
Yeah, or you'll be able to show it at the theater and get like a free popcorn or something. Like, I don't know, like
Yeah, definitely.
And people are using it a lot. I know I use this. I told these guys. So there's this rapper that Tory Lanez. He came out with his, instead of coming out with his album on like Spotify and stuff like that, he sold 1 million. He made it into NFT. Each one cost $1, and he sold 1 million of them, and he sold out in a few seconds.
for sure.
And he got royalties.
And see, that's like doable, man. That's smart.
Especially if you have that platform.
Yeah, because like selling one NFT like at $250,000, like who's gonna buy it? But selling them at $1, shit,
And only
anybody will
having
buy
a
them. You have
million,
$1 million
If he
or
was
2
selling
million
for $10, it would have gone crazy.
Yeah, and
it's
people
affordable.
bought them, and I bought one.
Did you really buy one?
Yeah.
Oh damn!
Yeah, I
big
bought it. It's
baller
$1.
over here.
It came out to $1.
Weren't they worth like 50K at one point?
No, some of his singles.
Okay.
No,
I'm sure it's worth more. I ended up paying. It was like $1.40 something with the gas fees and stuff like that, which I didn't know.
That's probably like $30 with the gas fees.
Like I ended up buying it there, and I mean it just sat there. And it's funny because when I first started hearing about NFTs, The Weeknd was going to come out with one. He's a singer.
Oh yeah, he was gonna buy one.
And I was going to buy one. I was like, oh, I can't wait till the release date and stuff. But then I found out it was going to be like an auction. I was like, I'll pay like $500-$600 for it. I don't like. That's what I'm willing to spend. When I logged on to look at what the bid was, it was $450,000, and I was like,
Oh, boy.
that one's
Yeah,
a
he's
little out of
a
my
little
price
short on
range."
that one.
And it was a cool graphic. Don't get me wrong, it was a cool graphic. But I was like, I'm not going to spend $450,000 on that.
Now that you're into crypto and you're not into NFTs yet, but
maybe next year.
have there been some expensive lessons you've learned during
With the
your
crypto?
yeah
Take more profits.
right
On some of the stuff. I mean, like Dogecoin is the obvious example. But there have been others, like Solana was like $250 and now it's 98. Like, damn, I should have taken some of those profits. And the thing about crypto is it's a lot faster moving and it's really volatile. So for a stock, it can go up 10% in like a couple of weeks. It can go down 10% in a couple of weeks. These cryptos, like I have the alerts on my phone from like the crypto.com app, and it's like, alert me anytime something moves 10%.
it's like 5 minutes.
Like my battery dies and the alerts coming through because it's up 10%, it's down 10%, it's up 10%, it's down 10%. All like I'll go on and I'll have like 16 missed alerts on my phone, and I'm like, man, what happened? And it's just Solana up 15, down 15, all in the same day.
An hour
That's
worth
great.
of alerts.
He goes to the bathroom.
One other question I had: are stocks boring to you now that you've dabbled into crypto?
It's not boring, but it is like you do see the opportunity to make way more money in crypto. But the thing that like personally about crypto is like it's 24/7. It never closes.
stops.
And like as a crypto, like as someone who would like occasionally trade crypto, I'm like waking up at like 2 a.m. and I'm like, gotta check my crypto. Like, that's gonna make me lose my mind. Like that's not healthy to be like up at 4 a.m. like, what's Solana now? But you do get like so nervous about like missing these swings. Like, oh, I'll buy it when it drops next time. It drops like 35%, which like if a stock drops 35%, it would be like the end of the world.
Yeah,
But like a crypto can drop 35% in like 2 days. And
it's
then be up
normal. It's just Tuesday.
yeah, it's normal. So like, as a trader, the potential is there, but it's also like going to affect your health because it's 24/7.
Yeah. How does trading crypto how do your graphs translate to crypto from stocks? Is it similar? Are there changes that you do? Like, are there certain metrics you don't use when trading crypto that you do when using stocks?
It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same, which was weird to me. Like like a year ago when we talked, I didn't really do a lot in the crypto. Like I just was like buy and hold. I would just buy my Bitcoin and buy some Ethereum and forget about it. But the more I started watching other people on TikTok who I trust and I think have valuable insights and stuff, they would show the charts for their crypto trades, and they were exactly like my stock trades. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know you could do your charts like that. I didn't know. I mean, it makes sense now, but like at the beginning, I was like, I didn't know you could have Bollinger Bands and relative strength index and Fibonacci, like all the technical analysis that I use, they're using too.
Yeah.
So it does make it a little bit easier to like translate or transfer over to that if you're already familiar with the stock technical analysis.
Yeah. Now it's not the same, but like I feel like a year ago even the technical analysis was a little bit more accurate on crypto than it was on stocks. But now I feel like enough people that are into stocks have moved on to crypto that now it's starting to get harder, kind of like stocks.
Yeah. I think it's also the once the big money gets into these things, it becomes just like the stock market.
Yeah.
So like these crypto guys were like, I hate stocks, I hate Wall Street. That's why I'm in crypto. Man, as soon as the hedge funds realize there's money to be made in this, they're coming over to crypto, and they already are. But like, 6 months ago they weren't so involved. Now, JP Morgan is big into Ethereum and
they own it
Diamond.
basically.
They own it. Basically, yeah, and they own all these like MetaMask and they're getting into like all these CEOs that were talking shit about it a year ago. All of a sudden, they love it. And all these people that I follow who are in the crypto space, they were like, no, it's for the people, it's for the little guy. We don't want these hedge funds. Now the hedge funds are coming in, and they're like, well, actually, this is good news because it means that it's lending credibility and it's making it legitimate. People used to think it's not, now it is. So it's just the way these things evolve. Like, they're not necessarily like being hypocritical when they were saying we want the hedge funds to stay out, and now the hedge funds are in, and they're like, we like it. It's just the way these things progress.
Yeah, I think for the long term it's good, but
I think so.
But for the short term, it's going to suck.
I'm sure these hedge funds are going to kind of ruin it too and take away part of,
They're going to take the soul out of it, but they're going to make it more
mainstream,
more predictable, less volatile in the long term.
Yeah, and
which
I'm
kind
not
of sucks.
really worried either about like the regulations that are coming. I know the crypto people hate it because the crypto people generally hate the government and anything the government does, and they don't want them getting into their space. But I don't think. I think this regulation, I mean, the stuff that Biden put out wasn't particularly like terrifying to me.
That was actually kind of bullish if you really look at it.
Like, if you read the report, there was nothing about banning it. It was all consumer protection, how to make it competitive, how to make the U.S. competitive in the crypto space. I think the concern is people hear the government say, "Oh, we're going to do this good thing," and then they don't do that good thing, whatever it is. But first of all, it's just a study. They're just studying it, so it's going to take a year at least for them to study this. And what's the crime aspect to it? What's the environmental impact to it? Then they're going to have their study. Then they're going to debate it. Then they're going to delegate it. Then they're going to have their meetings. It's going to be a while before anything.
Yeah, that's the thing with the government. It moves really slow, so you have a lot of time to take some profits, to take some losses, take more profits.
The other thing that you'll see that you'll see a lot of these crypto people on TikTok like doom and gloom. This is going to be the end of crypto, and it's really just them trying to get views.
Yeah, and then the next day is the greatest thing ever, and then the next day, doom and gloom again.
Yeah,
World War III.
They're just trying to get people to follow them and engage with them, and that's why they make these videos so like the Biden administration's taking away your crypto, and you're like, what? And then people start commenting, I hate that guy, and it's like. It's just, it's just to get like engagement, but they're actually kind of maybe scaring people too, because people are like, should I sell my crypto? And you're selling it at the moment when all these big hedge funds are coming into it.
Yeah.
Be careful. Be careful who you listen to on these apps, because they're just trying to get views.
Yeah, because if you just look at what's going on, like ignore the FUD, ignore the hype, just look at what's going on. Yeah. More institutions are getting into it. There's more adoption. It's getting easier to use. It's the people are learning more about it, so it's becoming more mainstream. So like everything points up.
Right. That's how a lot of this new stuff starts exactly like what you just said. Electric vehicles, like the technology right now maybe isn't the best. Like these batteries are bad, and charge times, and it's not a place to. Like I live in DC. If I want to charge, I don't have a garage. So if I had an electric vehicle, I have to go to the grocery store and leave my car and charge it there, which is fine. But like, people are like, oh, that makes it bad. It's stupid. I hate it. And it's like, dude, like this is such a new technology, just like crypto. It's so new. To be in like now, you're at the ground floor. Like this technology can only improve.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about with the NFTs. It's hard to transfer. It's hard to link. You have to sync the thing. I'm watching like YouTube videos. I'm like, how do I sync this wallet to that thing? I don't know how to do this. In 10 years, it's going to be so easy. So it can only go up. I mean, I'm sure there are going to be some coins that are forgotten about and some NFTs that go nowhere. But for the most part, you're getting in at like the super early stages of this stuff.
Yeah. I was gonna kind of relate the whole crypto to actual like the physical world. I think we were kind of lucky to have these guys that actually have a Bitcoin. The mining, actual mining farm here in town, and kind of like relate the whole. There's more than one way to get into crypto, not just like what people think. Like I guess like, it's the same thing with stocks. You can actually go to Wall Street and see it go down, but it's easier to get into like something like that
I got
physically.
Lost.
No, I get what he's saying.
Yeah,
like,
you know what I mean?
Just seeing, seeing the mines was cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though that's an expensive way to get into crypto.
Yeah. I wanted to. Like we went and saw it, and we were about to buy a mining rig, but in the end, we had stuff that was coming up that we couldn't justify spending that much money because of the stuff that we were gonna do in the next coming months, and so we didn't get one. But doesn't mean we didn't want to. Yeah,
because that's more of a long-term investment. Because you spend the money now, but then within like 4 or 5 years, you should get your money back plus more. And like what he's talking about. So this studio that I have here, I have a new one, and I had to spend money to get that one.
He didn't want to invite you to the new one.
Oh, I don't have the podcast stuff set up over there.
Oh, let's take it.
And so like things like I really wanted to get one, but sometimes you have to think about other things.
But to kind of follow on my question, because I kind of went around the loop on that one. Was that something that you would ever look into? I know you said you're in DC, but I know that these guys, for example, they have people all around the world that they host their miner. Is that something that like investment wise would be something that you have thought of, or even like, I don't know,
getting a mine?
So I don't have the space here in my own apartment for them. I mean, I've seen some of these mining rigs that like to take over your garage. Like you have to have the space.
The heat does. Yeah, the heat messes up your house.
Yeah, and I think it like skyrockets your electricity bill too.
Yeah.
So those are all the things that like I have to like take into consideration before seeing like, is this going to be worth it for me in the long run, or with the cost of the rig and the cost of the space, like if I have to rent a space like you were talking about, or borrow someone else's, like lease their space or whatever to use their rig. Is it worth it in the long run for me? I don't know. I don't know how much these things cost. They're pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you guys were talking about, that these hedge funds, like...
Yeah, we're all over the place.
No,
I like this.
Because I had this question earlier. Do you think this is going to affect the dollar?
What is...
Like all the...
Crypto?
Like crypto. Just crypto. Because... Like say a lot of these I think it was El Salvador. They took on like crypto, right?
Bitcoin.
Like Bitcoin.
Bitcoin's considered legal tender.
Do you think that's going to affect the dollar?
I don't think so, but who knows?
I don't think so.
I think it'll work in tandem.
Do you think it's just?
It'll work in tandem. Yeah, I mean it's kind of like the Bitcoin. It's kind of like Bitcoin and then like Coinbase stock. When Bitcoin goes up, Coinbase stock goes up. I think it could only benefit. I think long term. I mean, it might affect the dollar a little bit. Maybe that's part of this. I think part of the thing that they want to do with this executive order, like to study crypto, is like these very high staking cryptocurrencies. Like I'm getting 10% to stake my crypto. So that money that's sitting in my crypto.com account could be sitting in a Bank of America and going towards like, they would use that money. Bank of America would use my money to make investments, to grow, to build. They're not getting my money now because their interest rate is 0.01%. Mm-hmm. So I think part of the study is, maybe the government's a little bit worried that people are putting all this money into these high reward staking coins and not into U.S. banks. I think that's part of the concern that people have with the government oversight, is that it's gonna, you'll see a lot of these people saying like, the government doesn't want you making money. I don't think the government doesn't want you making money. I think they want you making money where it benefits them, so they can tax it and stuff like that. And so maybe that's part of it. Maybe that could affect the dollar a little bit if more and more people aren't putting money in banks because they're putting it in crypto and staking it on crypto exchanges. It could, but at the end of the day, like, when you want to buy a car, you can't buy that car yet in like crypto. Maybe one day you will, but I think it'll all kind of balance out.
But you still have to pay taxes, so they'll still get their money somehow. And they'll probably end up doing is just finding out a way to tax the shit out of your stable coin, whatever money you're getting from staking your stable coins. They're gonna tax it to where it's not gonna be worth it.
And it's funny how he talked about that. That's something that I didn't realize before. Is like when you have your money in like a savings account or something like that in a bank, and you think, it's fine there, it's making some money off the interest, until you realize how much the interest is compared to if you have it in like crypto. Like he was showing me the numbers, and I'm like, why would anyone put money in a bank? And inflation that was my first thing. I was like, why would? And so that's where I've seen,
because it's safe.
And it's funny because we tell John, I'm like, I made this $1 off of like this in like a couple weeks. He said, that's it, $1? I'm like,
dude, it adds up.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that's more than you would have made over at the savings account in that amount of time too. It's crazy to me because I've only been investing this is like my second year. I think it's my second year. And I'm like, why didn't I know about this before? I tried to tell my parents about it, but they're like, no, I'm going to keep my money in the bank because stocks and crypto, that's how you lose your money.
Right now, it's hard to tell people to, hey, start investing because everything's down. But it should be like the best time to get, if you feel like you missed out on the last run, which I had a question about that to you. But if you feel like you missed out on the last run in 2020, like now's your chance. Like he said, don't go all in. Like have a strategy so that you're buying a little bit at a time. Or
you mean don't sell your house and use that money?
No. Or do a strategy like there's so many strategies to start investing slowly and with low risk out there. All you have to do is like research them, like just Google them. Like for example, you can, because you don't do options, right? You don't do options very much. But for example, there's one where say you have $10,000, you want to get into something. You can sell a put option so that you're buying it at a lower price. So they'll pay you to buy it at a lower price. If it doesn't reach that price, you keep the premium. If it does reach the price, you buy it cheaper and you keep the premium. Mm-hmm. And then you do it backwards, where you sell your call option now. So if it reaches a certain price, you sell it to them. So you get the premium plus you get the amount of money that the strike price is for, which is usually higher than when you bought. And if it doesn't, you keep the premium. Like it's just, you're just making money. Mm-hmm. You're using time to make money instead of relying on something else. But there's so many strategies. It's just right now it's one of the safest. I think it's one of the safest, even though it feels like it's not. Just because if you would have invested like 4 or 5 months ago, everything was at its highest it's ever been. Like a lot of things were breaking all-time highs. I don't think that's the safest place you want to be buying stocks at. Right now, like most tech stocks are like 50% off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny how people get because when you brought up like everything was at its peak. I know some people they're like, oh, this is when you got to get in because you're gonna miss out. People get FOMO. They get FOMO, and then that's when they have to buy. In the fear of missing out that it's gonna go up higher, and they're gonna miss the train, and all of a sudden it just dumps. Because I know some people who were like, oh, I want to get into it because it's hyped up. Everyone's talking about it on TikTok or the social media, and they were like, oh, I need to get it now, and then they get it, and all of a sudden it just
and that happens to them. They get dumped on. and then they never touch a stock again.
Yeah.
And they tell everybody how horrible trading and buying stocks and how shitty it is. But just like right now, from my all-time high to where I'm at right now, my portfolios are down a lot, like 30%, 40%, but they're still up higher than when I started. So I'm okay. And a lot of people don't realize that. Like,
yeah, that's what I told John. It sucks seeing your portfolio down like that. But compared to where I started at, it's actually, I'm still up. Like, believe it or not, I'm still up, but I'm just lower than the all-time high.
So why would you suffer for nothing instead of like getting some more shares? That way, when even if it just goes up to what it was before, you're gonna make a lot of more profit if you're dollar cost averaging a little bit. I'm not saying like invest everything, just you have $50, $20, $30, $60, just keep buying a little bit of time. So my question to you was, so last time you were on, you said that you kind of sat out the 2020 crash because you were like, maybe it could go further down, and you said you learned a lesson. So did you? And are you now accumulating more?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So in 2008, with the first big crash that I saw, I was so afraid because I had never seen anything like that. And I would talk to like brokers and stuff, and they were older. So they were like, sell everything, panic. And I was watching it and I was like, oh man, like the world is ending. I don't want to buy any stocks right now because, the world's ending. Who cares about your stocks? It's like, and I missed out. But the thing in 2008 was it went on forever. Like it was a long bear market. It just kept dropping. So that was my mindset. Like, okay, it's going to happen again with COVID. Everything's going to crash. Everything's going to get shut down. There's going to be a huge recession, and it's going to drag on for years. So when it dumped in March or whenever, when it did, I didn't buy anything because I was like, all right, I'm in that mindset of it's just going to keep getting lower. What I learned is the market is totally different now. Maybe it's because of that. Maybe it's because of the hedge funds, and maybe it's because of the larger amount of retail investors who have come into the space. Maybe it's all that stuff. And so what I started doing was, just what we've been talking about, a little bit every big down day, because you don't know, it could go on forever. And by the way, I'm buying stuff that's really high quality. I'm not buying garbage penny stocks. Maybe I'm trading the penny stocks. I'm trading these risky things, but people have to realize, like, especially if you're new, that trading and investing are two different things. So like I'm trading this garbage, but I'm investing in really high quality stuff. So if I buy Ford at 20 and it drops to 16, I buy a little bit more. And if it drops to 10, I'm going to buy a little bit more because I'm not so concerned about the next 6 months. I'm thinking about the next 10 years. So what I've learned is the markets are way faster moving now. We react to crises and bad news a lot faster than we used to. So I think that recessions and slumps and sell-offs aren't going to drag on for years and years and years anymore. I think it's going to be a lot faster. Big down sell-offs, like what we saw in March with COVID, where it was a steep sell-off and then it came right back up. And then it just sort of traded sideways a little. Maybe it's down gradually, but the big, steep monster sell-offs that just go on for 8 months or 2 years, I don't know that we're going to be seeing those. So I am really cautiously adding to stuff a little bit at a time. I'm not going crazy. The way I see it is like I want some skin in the game, because if the things rebound and go back up, I'm going to be kicking myself that I didn't buy some, but I don't want to buy everything because it might go lower. I just think, like, which would I be more upset about? Like, would I be more upset if I sat out and waited and didn't get in, or if it rebounded and I only got a little? Like, I want to have a little, like, I'd rather have a little, you know what I mean? I'd rather have 50 shares instead of 300, but at least I got in and then it rebounded. And if it doesn't rebound, buy a little bit more.
Until that eventually rebounds, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Well,
it always has. Like, you look back and it, like he said, sometimes it lasts longer before the rebounds, but for the most part, if you're buying good quality stuff, it usually rebounds.
Yeah. And don't worry, like, people are so worried, like, oh, it's 20. Oh, I should have waited because now it's 18. Like, dude, like 15 years from now, all you're going to be thinking about is how you bought it 10 years ago and you bought it at, I don't know, like around $20. And people are going to be like, damn, like Chipotle was $38 in 2008. It's $1,300 now. You know, like you're not going to remember I should have waited 3 more days to buy Chipotle at 36. I wish I had waited a little bit longer. You're just going to be glad you have it.
Yep. And back to what I said in last time you were on, like to people that are young, like John, man, you have time on your side, man. It's like you have so much time to build a good position for when you're old.
As long as you're in like super high quality stuff, like you can have time on your side and invest in garbage, and it's going to be garbage forever.
Yeah. Don't invest into a 3D printing software company.
No, yeah, and then people make that mistake. They want to get rich, kind of like on Wolf of Wall Street. They're thinking they're either going to get scammed like that, or they're going to be able to make a boatload of money right away. Yeah. And that's something that they shouldn't go into it thinking like they're going to become rich super quick, because that's not what happens.
You're not going to be sniffing coke from Margaret. Never mind.
You gotta you also have to go in like with the reverse mindset. Like a lot of people are like, I'm going to load up on the super risky stuff, and then I'm going to put a little bit in the boring stuff. It should be the other way around. The majority of your money should be in like index funds, and like a couple of like really solid companies, and then a little bit can go into your stupid stuff, like some cannabis company that you really like, or some cryptocurrency that you think could do something, but if it doesn't do something, like a lot of people are like really rolling dice heavy on like really super risky stuff, and then they're neglecting like the safe kind of boring stuff. And that's going to come back to maybe hurt. I mean, look, maybe they get lucky. Maybe they pick the cryptocurrency that is the next Bitcoin, and they make $200 million.
And then they start at YouTube, and they're like, how great of a master they are.
And then they can never get those same results. Their life goes downhill from there. They end up.
Life is over. Or they have to come out with a course about how they're such a great trader, and because they want that money. Yeah. And they want that steady stream of income, so they sell a course.
Maybe you should start some courses, Kenneth, and say, screw it. Screw being an honest person. I'm gonna go all into
all
these
you have
courses.
to do is put a disclaimer and be like, trade at your own risk at the end. So that way, if it like,
and then just do the not financial advice.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I'm just saying.
You have to say that though.
It's not. Yeah, you're not a financial advisor, right?
Yeah, it's not. Nothing we say here. This is all entertainment.
All entertainment.
No financial advice whatsoever.
Yeah. And it's funny that you bring that up too, because I want people to listen to that, because I was talking to somebody about, I'm pretty sure they get bored of me now. I'm like, oh, you should get it, like into crypto and stuff like that.
Because I see you every day.
But
I have to work with them every day.
People think that you have to buy an entire coin, but that's not the actual case, because I was like, oh, why don't you get involved in even Bitcoin? Oh, right. I don't have $40,000.
Even stocks now, you don't have to buy full shares.
Yeah, and I'm like, just buy partial. And he literally told me, you can buy part of it. I'm like, yeah. This whole time he was thinking.
Go ahead.
No, this whole time he was thinking that you had to buy.
It's all or nothing.
He's like, I can only afford the.
You have to buy the entire thing, or you don't get involved.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not the case.
That's how it was for me when I found out about Bitcoin. It was $5,000. And I was like, I'm not spending $5,000 on something I don't even know what it is. Like, this was a long time ago. And I was like, $5,000 on like, that's a real gamble to me. Cause what is this? Man, I wish I knew you could buy $100 worth or buy a fifth of, like buy $1,000 worth. Like everyone has that amount of money that they're cool to like throw at something that they think is a gamble. Like when Shiba Inu was going crazy, people were like, I'll put in $200. I'll put in $100. I don't care if I lose $100 on this thing. Everyone has that number, and I wish I had known back then. You can buy a little of Bitcoin if you want. You don't have to buy a whole coin, because I definitely would have.
I almost bought Litecoin. So they used to sell. I don't know if you remember. They used to sell some of these cryptos on eBay. And I don't know how, they'd send you an address that you'd have to, right. It was a mess. I didn't understand it. That's why I never bought any. Like, I didn't know what I had to do. But Litecoin was like $1 something. Bitcoin was 500 and something at that time. And we never got any because I had no clue how it worked. I had no clue how to get my coin. And I don't know if they were going to send me a physical coin with like an address. I didn't understand any of it. And so I missed out. And that's the thing. Now people don't have to miss out because there's so much information that simplifies it.
And it's easier to get now as well.
so much easier. I mean, they have Bitcoin ATMs in like liquor stores in DC where you can just go by and it prints you out like a ticket, like with all your information, or you can like take a QR code and take a picture of it on the thing.
Yeah, they have one here at the mall too.
Do they really?
Yeah.
A Bitcoin one?
Yeah, but it's stupid expensive. If you go buy it there, if you go buy it there right now, it's what, like $39K. If you go buy it there, they're probably sell it to like at $41.5.
Oh shit!
Damn.
Yeah.
And do they charge you a fee to?
I'm sure they do. Yeah, because you have to pay a gas fee. With Bitcoin, it's not that expensive, but if Ethereum, if you buy like $10 worth of Ethereum, you have to pay like $600 probably.
Damn.
Well, it's a joke because Ethereum's really
Well, yeah,
gas fees are expensive.
yeah. Especially like if you want to buy NFTs too from there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, we've been going for a while. I want to thank you for coming on. Just
I had a
because.
question.
No, go ahead.
Before we go, this is nothing to do with investing.
What?
So it's on on TikTok. So are you team doors or team wheels?
Oh man,
Because everybody's talking about that right now. So you have to get into
yeah,
it.
I think it's gotta be wheels.
It has to be wheels, right?
It has to be wheels.
Yeah, it has to be wheels. What are you?
I don't know what you're talking
like
about.
toys too, though. Like, are we counting, like stuff like
I know what you're talking about now.
He's
Oh, sorry.
sorry, Ken.
toys and stuff like Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
You count those. Dude, like there's so many more wheels.
Yeah, way more wheels. Are you team door or team wheels? So are there more doors in the world
Yeah.
or more wheels in the world?
I don't know because some people make the good arguments. You know, when you think of skyscrapers, you think of like all these massive buildings that all the doors that are inside of it.
I go wheels because semis have like fucking 70 tires.
Those you know how those big AC 130 or whatever planes, they have like a bunch of wheels on the ground, or in Amazon, their Amazon warehouses have the wheels where the packages have to roll on. Like,
Right, yeah.
there's so many more
Yeah,
wheels.
but what's considered like? Do you count the wheels on toy cars?
Yeah,
Then you
they're
have
wheels.
then you have to count
Well, you count the doors on the toy cars.
on the toy cars
And
too
all
as well.
Four wheels, two
doors
doors.
on the-
Or it has
But
four
the
doors.
doors on the toy cars don't always open.
Exactly. And
So
to be a
does it have
door, it
the
has to
function?
open. To be a door, it has to open.
So what if it's a
So,
wheel
like,
and
on
it
the toy
doesn't
cars,
spin?
Then it's not a
Not
wheel.
a wheel. It's just a
That
circle.
doesn't count. Yeah.
It's just a circle. What about you?
Yeah, there's-
I'm wheels. I'm all wheels.
Yeah, I'm wheels all the
And
way.
there's wheels like in drawers too. When you open up your drawers, they're on those tracks that
Yep.
have the wheels. So even though you have like one drawer, like that's a door, it opens, but there's like four wheels. in it
Exactly.
Because that's there's more wheels.
And people are getting a little carried away. They're saying like certain cells, like the certain part of the cell is considered no. A door is anything with a hinge that flips open. That's a door. Advent calendars aren't doors. So some people are saying advent calendars, they're not doors. You know?
Jesus, dude, this is
Yeah,
getting out of hand.
it's crazy, man.
Look at you getting on these TikTok
No,
trends.
companies are all over this. They're fighting between each other. It's great.
It's funny that you bring that up because at first I saw when you're scrolling through TikTok, right? Like something like that comes up and you're like, oh, that's dumb. And you know,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it pops up again. Somebody else is
Yeah.
talking about it. And then I actually started thinking about it. I'm like, well, what about skyscraper? Like you start actually thinking about something that's so like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't really think about, oh, is there more wheels in the world or is there more doors
It's
in
the
the world?
dumbest thing, but it gets you like thinking, and I like stuff like that makes you think.
Yeah. And
I mean, yeah, you guys you're right because like my apartment, my kitchen has like 15 cabinet doors in my kitchen.
Mhm.
You know, and if you've got a skyscraper with like 70-story building that has like 400 apartments, and all those apartments have 15 things just on their kitchen and in their bathroom and their closet door and their front door and their back door. There's a lot of doors too.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of
But
doors.
There's more vehicles.
But there's
than
more
Hot
wheels.
Yeah, there's more vehicles than skyscrapers. Though.
yeah, but if you
What
start
about-
thinking about the third world countries where they don't
Yeah.
have freaking cars, but they
Yeah.
have a house.
But they don't have skyscrapers.
doors. Yeah.
No, but they have their little makeshift home.
But that little cart that their horses pull has wheels.
and the horses
Right?
don't have doors.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the horses don't have wheels either.
they use bicycles a lot. They have to get around
use
somehow.
motorcycles
They
a
have
lot.
wheels.
Motorcycles don't have doors.
Yeah, they have two wheels.
Yeah, and then like for example, like a bus, a
Yeah.
semi, there's only two doors, and there's like a
You know
ton
those
of-
laundry carts that most like people work in
Kmart's, all the Walmarts
cleaning
in the
people's
world.
laundry.
Yeah, but
they have wheels. They
all
have
the
four
laundry marts or the laundry
Yeah, but
mats,
all the
doors,
carts
those are all
in the
doors.
Walmarts.
wheels. Go to Walmart.
Yeah.
Every single car has wheels, four of them.
Four of 'em.
And it only has two doors. Well, two main doors, and then it's
Relatively.
got like a little bit more.
What about the ones for sale?
It's wheels.
Man, who started this? Who started the doors and wheels?
I don't
thing?
know.
Like, that
Whoever-
guy has no
yeah.
idea what he started.
Yeah.
Like,
Imagine-
whoever that guy was, like,
Imagine
like,
it starts
he
fights and
was
stuff.
Imagine that's the guy that's like,
That's the catalyst that starts World War III. Doors versus wheels. Oh, that'd be bullshit.
You have an argument, freaking Putin and Biden start arguing about doors and wheels.
Doors and wheels.
it's like we
Maybe that's what solves the conflict.
Oh, that's
Because Ukraine and Russia agree that it's wheels.
they all agree.
Oh, we're done.
hey, it's like thank you. Like
Yeah.
we agree on something. But like I said, thank you for coming on. Always enjoyed sitting
Yeah.
down and talking with you. Let the people know where they can follow you on Instagram and one more question based off of that: Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, Trade, Invest, Simplify on it's on Instagram and on TikTok, and my YouTube channel is just my name, Kenneth Suna. You can look me up on there.
And watch out for scammers.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's funny because also I'll start getting tagged on because I know you did a post about it, and somebody is just taking your like everything you write and then reposting it, and I'm like, did he make a new profile? And then I go in there and you can tell it's a really new profile, and then I send it to him. I'm like, hey, someone's
If
imitating
Kenneth
you
asks
again.
you how your trading's going, it's not Kenneth. He doesn't give a shit about your trading. No, he does. But that's why he makes videos. But you know what I mean, right?
I had this woman write me on Instagram because you can't, like, unless we follow each other on TikTok, you can't DM me.
Yeah.
So she found me on Instagram and wrote me a message, and she was like, "Hey, I'm really sorry I can't do your $500 challenge." And I was like, what? She was like, your $500 challenge. And I was like, I started thinking, I was like, did I make a video about a challenge? Like, I was like, what are you talking about? And she sent me a screenshot of like me writing her saying like, thank you for the follow. If you give me $500, I'll guarantee you that I can turn it into $10,000 within a month.
Oh,
And I'll,
You should have been like, can you do 250?
I was like, what? And then I was like, I'm so glad that she didn't. I mean, she was like all about to too. She was like, I really wanted to, but I can't afford it this month. And I was like, good thing you DM.
So next month.
Dude, I had a question that I want to bring up before we go. I know like these are last minute, but I know you have a shoot that you have to.
No, go ahead.
But do you use algorithm programs to trade? Like, have you ever tried them?
I haven't. No.
Because there's one that I use on TradingView. It's called Lux Algo.
Okay.
And it's
I've heard of that.
It's actually pretty good. The only thing is you have to actually do what it tells you, because sometimes they'll say sell and you don't, and then it tanks because like you still have to follow your plan. But I was just wondering if you ever do like if you have ever tried like Market Cipher or Lux Algo or any of those.
I haven't, but I've been seeing that Lux one a lot. So
It's actually pretty good.
okay. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna get anything from it.
So
but-
you're saying my 500 I send
it to you.
is not turning into 10,000 anytime soon?
Oh, damn.
No, it's all gone.
Man, that's so. Just so the people listening, he only has one account. He's not going to message you
No, he's not
some
gonna
sort of
message you.
challenge, and it sucks because no matter what you do or say or post, people are still going to do it because even if they just made the $500, it was worth it to them.
Yeah.
They're going to get one person.
Yeah.
They're going to get one person, and it sucks because then at the end of the day, it's not your fault, but like people assume it's your fault, and it sucks. It would suck to me, like people like, hey, I got scammed because I thought you were going to do the challenge.
There was a guy on TikTok who someone sent their Bitcoin to that WhatsApp number where they're like, text me on WhatsApp for an investment opportunity. And the guy wrote him and he was like, I'll manage your Bitcoin for you. Send it to me. And the guy sent it. And then he was like, that feels weird to me. So he wrote back and was like, can I have it back? And the number was shut down. So he went back on TikTok and found like the real account and was like, hey, can you give me my Bitcoin back? And the guy was like, you got scammed, dude. That wasn't me. And he was like, no, it was you. It had your bio, it had your picture. And he was like, it was a fake account. And the guy was like, oh, like it rocked him. It sucked. And it sucked for both people because the guy felt terrible. But like he didn't do anything, but he just like, he felt terrible for the guy. And the other guy was furious.
And it sucks because like you make these videos, you build an audience and stuff like that, and it sucks because people see that and they'll take advantage of it. And of course, you're not gonna see the fake accounts until maybe it's too late.
Yeah.
Or if you catch it, you've always posted it too about it, like, hey, this is not me. But there's always, like I said, there's that one person, could be John, that falls for the scam. And so watch out for those. But definitely give them a follow. I'm gonna link everything down below.
Yeah. Hopefully you can come back because there's a lot of charting questions I have. But in the future.
Yeah. So of course,
Like the last time I have a question for you because the last time we talked, you said that you have a huge Nike collection, but you don't own any Nike stock. So I gotta know, did you buy any Nike stock?
I haven't.
I thought you did.
Well, I did. I
he
had
took profits.
I took profits off of that, but
Take the profits and buy some shoes.
my majority, because everything, I haven't really bought too much stocks lately. It's all been crypto. You know, I've been like heavily involved into crypto, and that's why I should go buy some Nike stocks. But it just like you see the like, I see everything going like towards crypto. So that's where like my investing has been going. So yeah, I haven't bought any more Nike stock. Sorry.
But he did. He did buy some like right after, but then he sold it.
Did you make some money? Guys, I still use the
Oh, there you go.
knife that you guys sent me
There you
too.
go.
That thing's a
Love it.
beast.
Yeah, I didn't know what the knife laws were in DC, but I'm like, he'll figure it out. Either that or Kenneth will be in jail for a bit.
Imagine. Hey, thanks for that knife. I kind of got a felony for him, but
Yeah, but thank you. No, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's good quality stuff.
Yeah, oh yeah, high quality. You made in the USA too. So
That one's not, but
oh, yeah, that one, yeah, 'cause
that one's made in Italy.
In Italy,
The folders are made in Italy. The knives are made here in the US.
yes.
The fixed ones.
Again, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
I enjoy these conversations.
very enjoyable.
We're gonna have you on again, definitely for sure here in the future. So check
As
him out.
long as you're willing to come on.
Give him a follow.
It's not,
And hopefully one of these days we actually get to do an in-person one. That would be
hopefully we
super
can
cool.
someday. I kind of want to go to Washington, D.C. one day, but like on vacation.
You're outside his house.
I'll call him. He'll be like, "Oh shit, this guy." There's no way I'm answering.
When you
this.
give him that open invite, hey, whenever you come, just hit me up, and then you actually show up,
Yeah.
and he's like,
I'm here.
oh shit, he actually came. Again,
DC trip.
I think that would be dope.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
A DC trip. Again, thank you. And those guys listening, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Yep.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Peace.
Later.
Thank you.
Mardi man, Mardi man. Ahmed Mardi man, the man, the man.